Here we go. Benimaru, 5-star warrior, is dropping in Epic 7, and he does look pretty good. He is the new limited unit for the collab, the rerun of the slime collab, which is, kind of okay. The characters, when they first got introduced, were pretty good. They were really, really good. So I'm really interested in seeing how good Benimaru is going to be. So let's take a look at his stats. So he is a fire warrior, Sagittarius sign, and he has 119 base speed. His imprint concentration is a whale imprint. It is critical hit chance. Now, this is going to make pulling imprints of him very worth it, right? Because crit chance is a really, really good imprint to have, especially on a unit. He is going to want to do a lot of damage. So you're going to have to try to put in stats in everything else. And if you do have critical hit chance imprints, it makes building him a bit easier. And yeah, I think just from his initial look, he is going to be really strong. I think that you're going to want to build him somewhat tanky, but still able to deal a decent amount of damage. But let's take a look at his skills, all right? So his skill number 2, Universal Perception. At the start of the first battle, gains 50 fighting spirit. At the start of the enemy's extra turn, dispels all debuffs from the caster and grants multi-layer barrier for 2 turns before increasing combat readiness by 25%. You know, when there's an entire 3 paragraphs to his skill, you're gonna want to pull. All right, so far, extra turn unit, right? Like, he is meant to go up against units that take extra turns. He also gets CR push, right? And then the effect following an enemy's extra turn can only be activated once every 2 turns. So it's like on a 2-turn cooldown. After attacking when fighting spirit is full, consumes all fighting spirit to activate Hell Flare. Now he has 2 things built into his S2, his skill number 2. So he has multi-layer barrier and Hell Flare. You can skill enhance this, and this will push his combat readiness from 25% all the way up to 40%. That's pretty insane, right? That is a lot of CR push. His multi-layer barrier increases hit chance by 50%. So evasion units, he can hit those, right? Now he has more of a chance to hit those. He's unaffected by debuffs and some harmful effects. Multi-layer barrier cannot be dispelled. So it's just one of those things that once he has it, it's there. Hell Flare, this is when he consumes all of his fighting spirit. Attacks all enemies with a dark flame sphere, and it penetrates the target's defense by 30%. When the caster is granted multi-layer barrier, penetrates the defense by an additional 30%. So he has a 30% def pen, as is, and when he has multi-layer barrier, he gets an additional 30%. All right, so Conquer the List here takes the turn, gets an extra turn, he gets his multi-layer barrier up, and he's gonna do an insane amount of damage now. He has the full fighting spirit, right? That big nuke coming in. That is a lot of damage. That's pretty good for a bruiser unit, right? So warriors, the good thing about warriors is that you can build them somewhat tanky, and he has pretty decent base stats, so you can build him slightly fast. Keep in mind, he will have up to that 40% CR push, which is pretty crazy. And they only have him built at 13k HP. So he doesn't need to be 20k HP, but I have a feeling that you're going to be able to build him with a lot of bulk, and he's still going to do a lot of damage. He's the only DPS on this team here. As you can see, it's Benimaru plus 3 supports, right? Benimaru plus 3 supports. They're just relying on the Benimaru. So he is probably built just like Glass Cannon with that 13k HP. Doing 17k. Now keep in mind he did 17k onto a defense broken unit, right? So keep that in mind. Show No Mercy, his skill number 3. It's a 5-turn cooldown. You can get it down to 1, or you can get it down to 4, -1 turn cooldown with the Mola. Attacks the enemy by slashing their soul, decreasing defense for 2 turns. So he defense breaks on his skill 3 before increasing combat radius with the ally with the highest CR except for the caster by 15%. So he defense breaks. Whoever is next on the CR bar, combat readiness bar, is going to get a 15% CR push. And when he has that multi-layer barrier, he gets double the fighting spirit. He gets 25 fighting spirit from this. He gets a total of 50 fighting spirit. So that means that he can automatically go with his nuke, right? With his S2 bomb, which is pretty crazy. So I don't know. I think that's a lot, right? He has 3 paragraphs worth of text on his S2. Skill number 3 gives himself a defense break for 2 turns, not a 1 turn, right? 2 turn defense break. Now, keep in mind, this is a skill 1. That is also a chew, okay? A water unit. This is a water unit, okay? Water unit. He does have that hit chance, which is pretty crazy, okay? Defense break. And then when he comes back around, we saw that he just AoEs with that S2 bomb and just destroys, right? Destroys, because he has the multi-layer barrier, which cannot be dispelled. So once he has it up, he has it for all of his attacks, which is pretty nice. So let's take a look at his skill number 1, move out of the way. Cuts the enemy to attack. When the caster is granted multi-layer barrier, increases damage dealt. So right away, no HP scaling, so you don't have to worry about building him HP. All his damage is going to come from someone else taking that extra turn and then him proccing all of his buffs, right? Multi-layer barrier, being able to chain into that S3, S2 bomb, right? Which is pretty crazy. And he has a 10 soul burn to increase damage dealt. This unit looks pretty crazy so far. 16k. Oh man. Okay, but keep in mind that 16k he did have attack buff, right? And he had his buff there, which is pretty crazy. Okay, so his artifact. So let's talk about his artifact here. His artifact, I think, is like the next guiding light to where you want as many of these as possible. So let's take a look at it first and then we can talk. So Benimaru's Tachi, when you have this fully maxed out, right? It is a whale art, okay? Keep that in mind. But when it's fully maxed out, at the start of the first battle has a 100% chance to grant immunity for 1 turn. Now, this is for all warriors, okay? Any warrior that has this has turn 1 immunity without immunity set, okay? At the start of the turn, when the caster does not have a debuff, so if this warrior that has this artifact is not debuffed, they get an attack buff for 1 turn. Okay, that is pretty crazy. I think this might be his best in slot as well, because he gives himself attack buff, right? He has immunity. This pretty much completes his kit all around, right? That's pretty crazy. But this can work at just plus 15. It's similar to Guiding Light, right? But you want it to be 100%. So I think you're going to want as many copies of this as you hopefully can get from the banner. It's going to be rough, but I'm going to do my best to try to pull. I want to say 2 because that's probably feasible. For sure, I can buy one from the shop. But, you know, hopefully we get lucky and pull some artifacts. If not, and you end up going back in for artifacts, you can still get more Benimarus, which I think is 100% worth because he is a crit chance imprint. So I think his banner in particular is actually going to be pretty good to summon on and get dupes of either Benimaru or of this artifact. So keep that in mind. Hopefully you still have some bookmarks saved from that that custom RGB banner, right? Custom limited banner that we just had, because he does look really, really good. So I can't wait to pull for him. I think he's going to be great against those extra turn units. He is dropping on May 11th. So let me know your thoughts about Benimaru in the comment section below. What do you think of him? What do you think of his skill kit? Let me know if you're going to be going all in to his banner. Like always, if you have enjoyed the video, hit that like button if you haven't subscribed. Hey, think about subscribing. It really helps the channel grow and reach more people like you who like content like this. Like always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.